Hi PreAlgebra, this is Mr. Rigger, and this is a lesson about adding and subtracting integers. I think you guys should be familiar with these concepts from previous classes, but we're just going to run through them to make sure we're on the same page. This is the note sheet that I handed out in class, so this is the second piece of this integer section. So first, two numbers whose sum is 0. So if your sum is 0, that means that you are opposite numbers. So that would mean that 4 has the opposite -4, and -4 has the opposite 4. So they are opposites of each other. Now, when we're adding integers with the same sign, this is actually a pretty easy concept that can become pretty difficult. This is addition that we've done pretty much up until now. We've always added positive things to positive things. So this is a pretty simple concept because you've been doing it for years and years and years. If we think about this as a number line problem, so I'm here at 9. Now remember, I can start a number line wherever I want. And that's first number is where I start, and then this plus 9 is telling me go right 9 units. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units. So 1 unit takes me to 10, and then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I've gone 9 to the right, and I'm at 18. And that's how we're going to add two positive integers together. We've already done that. So, what about a negative integer plus a negative integer? They have the same sign. So we're going to look at something similar. We're going to start at -9 on the number line. So, I have -9. Now I have plus -9. This is going to tell me go left on the number line. I'm adding -9. Another way to think about this is if somebody owes me $9 and they owe me 9 more, how much will they owe me? So I need to go leftward. I need to go in the negative direction, 9 units. So I am going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's how I add a -9 by going left. It's the same thing really as subtracting. So I'm going to be at -10, -11, -12, -13, so on and so on until I get to -18. So this is -18. So what's the shortcut? If I have a negative number and I'm adding a negative number, I add the two values. 9 plus 9 is 18, and since they were both negative, I attach a negative here. That's the key. So here, 12 plus 3 is 15, but since both are negative, I add a negative sign. 6 and 7, add them together, you get 13, and then add the negative sign because they were both negative. Likewise over here, 12 plus 3 is 15. They're both positive, so this is a positive 15. We don't usually write the plus in front. 6 plus 7 is 13. That's positive, but we don't usually write the plus in front. If I want to talk about adding integers with different signs, the rule changes. Now, this is really going to be a matter of subtraction. Because now it's like I have $6, but I owe someone 15. Notice these are all pluses. So what's really happening here? If we look on the number line, if we start with a positive number, like 6, and then we add a negative, we're going to go left on the number line. So to get from 0 to 6, I go this way. I go right. So 6, positive 6, I go right to 6. And then this says go back left 15 units. So I'm coming back this way. They're fighting against each other, positive and negative forces. Here the negative force, the negative number is bigger than the positive number, so I'm going to end up with a positive number getting overridden by the negative. My answer is going to be negative. So if I go 6 this way, I have to go 9 more to get to go negative 15 units over. So I'm going to end up at negative 9 when I slide 15 units left from 6. This is going to be negative 9. So what's the shortcut here? I take the bigger number, the bigger value number, the absolute value, minus the smaller one, and I get 9. So that's the value of the number. And then the sign of the number comes from the one that has the bigger absolute value. So here the negative has the bigger absolute value, so this is a negative. That's because a negative wins in this tug of war on the number line. Over here, I start at negative 12. So really I start at 0 and I go left 12 to end up at negative 12. And then my tug of war plus 30, I go 30 units this way. So the 30 wins, the positive wins this battle because 30 is bigger than 12. So if I count 30 units over, I'm going to find that I'm at 18, positive 18. So what's the shortcut? I'm going to take 30 minus 12 because they're fighting against each other, and I'm going to get 18, and then the absolute value of 30 is bigger, and that's positive, so this is a positive 18. Again, we don't usually write the plus in front of a number, but I'm showing you that it's positive because 30 wins the battle between negative and positive. Over here, what's going to win? Not negative 3 because t is smaller value, absolute value, than 12 is. So this is going to end up with a positive number. So 12 minus 3 is 9, and since 12 is bigger and it's positive, I get a positive 9. Here I have negative 12 plus 3. So the negative 12 is bigger, so my answer is going to get a negative sign in front of it. 12 minus 3 is 9, so I'm going to still get 9. So both of these problems, I do 12 minus 3, the bigger minus the smaller of the absolute values, bigger absolute value minus smaller absolute value. The only difference is the sign comes from the problem, and we have to look at which number had the biggest absolute value and what sign was it. What wins, positive or negative? Subtracting integers is very similar because we can write every subtraction as an addition. So 7 minus 2 means start at 7 and go left 2, or I can think about it as 7 and add a negative 2. So adding a negative 2 is the same as subtracting. So 7 minus 2 we know is 5. And 7 plus negative 2 we know is 7 minus 2 is 5. And then we get a plus sign because 7's bigger and it's positive. So we get the same answer. So we can really think of every subtraction as actually an addition, which is part of the reason why please excuse my dear Aunt Sally has addition and subtraction grouped together as the fourth step, because really addition and subtraction can be written as each other. So, since this works every time, we can turn every subtraction into an addition. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the opposite of the number. So 7 minus 2, I'm subtracting 2. So here I'm going to add the opposite of 2, which is negative 2. Here this is 5 minus 7, right? 5 minus 7. So I'm going to turn that into 5 plus negative 7. This is 12 minus negative 15. So I'm going to turn this into 12 plus, but what's the opposite of negative 15? Positive 15. The way that a lot of teachers do this and show you the trick to memorize this is 12 negative negative becomes plus plus. 30 minus 12 can become 30 plus negative 12, because here I'm subtracting the number 12. Here I'm subtracting the number 3 from a negative. So this is negative 5 plus negative 3. Hopefully that helps you as you think about these things. So really, every time we have a subtraction, it really is an addition, and then we can use the addition rules. So a scuba diver is going down below sea level. So if this is sea level and sea level is 0 feet, if I'm going down x, then I'm at negative x feet compared to sea level. And then I dive 87 more feet. So I'm going to go down even more. So this drawing's not great because I didn't leave enough room. I'm at 0, I go down x feet, and then I go down 87 more. Where am I at compared to the sea level? Well, I'm at negative x, and then I'm going to add negative 87 more feet. This is a plus a negative. I could also write this as negative x minus 89, right? Because if every subtraction can be written as an addition, every addition we can write as a subtraction. That's a little bit to munch on. Hopefully this video helps.